Tom, I think you better straighten us out on all the errors I made here. So.
Well, thank you. Very active. First of all, let me just say that it's such a great honor to accept this award, to be nominated for this prestigious award that, given by our industry, the Underground Construction Technology Association. But also, it's just a tremendous honor to be introduced by Mike Garber. He told you a little bit about our background and our introduction back in 1987 when I came down and visited his project down in Houston and saw what Mike was telling us all about. And but after that, I went back to Purdue and finished up my work there. Went down to Louisiana Tech, and I got a call one day from the secretary up there. She said, "There's a guy down in Houston that's trying to get in touch with you." And I said, "What in the world is that?" He said, "I think his name is Mike Garber." So I called Mike, and he told me that he was wanted to follow up to see what I was doing. He heard something about me going down to Louisiana Tech. So I said, "Well, I'd like to come to Houston to talk with you about this idea I've got about establishing some type of a center or institute or something that can bring academicians and the industry together and try to get some government funding to try to move our industry forward." And so I've had a couple, at least two, maybe three graduate students. We drove down to Houston and met Mike in his office, and during that meeting, he talked to him about this idea. It was just an idea. We didn't have any type of a funding or commitment at that time, and but it was a kind of a vision that I had. But you know, a vision is good, but without some type of inspiration or motivation and support, it can die pretty quick. But when I was meeting with him, I remember him saying, "You know, we like what you're doing. We think it's the right thing for the industry, and we'll provide some financial support." I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was. He said it could be used for supporting graduate students for travel. This is whatever you need to move this idea forward. He said, "Would you like to go to lunch?" Well, I never missed the opportunity to go to lunch. I said, "Yes." When he came back, he doubled that amount. And I thought to myself, well, maybe I need to stay for supper. But anyway, that was really the first support. You know, it wasn't the amount of money that was important, but it was really the commitment or the understanding or the belief in what we were trying to establish there at Louisiana Tech. I've got to thank Louisiana Tech, the department head that hired me, Les Geis. I explained to him kind of what I wanted to do, but it was just an idea. Nothing like that existed in our underground construction industry at that time, so it was something that it was a new concept. But Dr. Geis believed in it. He committed to helping me see where it would go. He's now the president of the university, so a lot has changed in that period of time. But I certainly got to thank Louisiana Tech for being behind me. It wasn't just Dr. Geis, but it was also the dean, Dr. Barry Benedict, who's now at the University of Texas in El Paso, so he's in Texas. But it is an honor to be here, and it's great to see all of you. I see so many friends out there that I've known for so many years, and it's also good to see a number of my students out here, and sometimes I was just thinking, did they come to see me get this award, or they just want a free lunch? Anyway, it's great to see them out there. It's also great to see this guy right here. He actually got his degree when I was at Louisiana Tech before, so it's good to see how he's made contributions to the industry, been a part of the industry, and moved forward with his professional career. But one thing that means so much to me is sometimes people ask, "Well, Tom, how did you get involved in this industry, this water and sewer industry, and how long have you been involved in it?" And I say, well, it really depends on when you start counting, because I was born into it. My father and grandfather were water and sewer contractors in the Carolinas. They worked on down into Alabama, Georgia, Florida, and even into Puerto Rico. So I was born into it. So that was during a time era where things were done different. We didn't have interstate highways. So transportation wasn't like it is today. So our family, my grandfather, my father, and the crew that they had, we were like, we referred to it like gypsies. We moved from project to project to project. The project may last 3 months, it may last 6 months, it may last a year. We moved a lot when I was growing up, but it was a close-knit group. And so I grew up, before I was able to be part of the crew. I grew up, stumbling behind my father and my grandfather along the ditch line, because that was the thing to do in those days. Wasn't a whole lot of, other types of activities. I also remember at night, sit after dinner, watching my father and my grandfather sit at the kitchen table, and they'd have the plans in front of them, and they would try to figure out, how they're going to build tomorrow, what needs to be done, how to accomplish what the engineers have designed. And you wouldn't believe what language I heard describing people that designed those projects. And I said, man, I've got to see who these people are. So we got on the job site, and my father and grandpa said, well, that's the engineer over there. And I said, they didn't look all that bad. They sure had some choice words. And I think it had to do something about they just didn't believe that the designers had the constructability capability that they had to deal with. But it was an interesting life, and I really look back on it and really thankful for what I had to experience. I really started working as an employee when I was 12, right out of the 6th grade. My father was building brick manholes in Birmingham at that time, and my brother and I worked with helping him to throw brick. I thought my job was real good because I was still on the bank, and I threw my father a brick, and all day long he'd catch those brick and build brick manholes. So that was, and the skill that was used to build those things was just amazing. I don't know how he held that, but my job was just to throw brick at my father all day long. I remember one day, a prime contractor, a guy that was real good friends with my father, walked up on the job site. He says, "Don't you know anything about child labor law?" My father says, "This has nothing to do about child labor law." He said, "It has to do with family time." All it has to do with respect. But anyway, I got on up into high school, and my grandfather asked me. He said, "Well, what are you going to do when you get out of high school?" I said, "I don't know. I was kind of thinking about being a pipe layer. I like laying pipe. I always appreciated the skill of the pipe layers back in those days. It's kind of like they controlled the rhythm of the project, and just the way that things were orchestrated on the job with getting everything there. I like that." And he says, no. He said, "You really need to go to college, and you need to be like these guys over here," pointing to the engineer. He said, "They don't have to do anything." So I followed that advice. I became an engineer, stayed on the engineering side for a number of years, and made it on up to a vice president of engineering for a company over in Alabama. And that was quite an interesting time of learning about the industry. But I really had that desire to get back into the construction industry, all about what UCTA is about. And so my father and I, we hadn't worked together for a number of years. We decided we'd try to do some things together. And that was 1979, and so we did. We worked on some projects and had a great time for about 3 years. And then I don't know if those of you with enough gray hair like me know what 1982 was not a very good year. And believe it or not, I had a master's degree at that time. I had an engineering degree and an MBA, and had the construction experience. And Mississippi State advertised to somebody. I mean, really, I was finishing up some jobs in Alabama. I didn't know what was going to happen after that as far as work. So Mississippi State advertised in the E&R magazine for somebody with a master's degree in construction and construction experience to come into the civil engineering department and teach construction courses. So I sent a resume in. Believe it or not, they